Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be covering a quick fuel filter change for the truck. The number one most important thing about this video, if you don't remember any of it, is do not cheap out on filters. Caterpillar 1R-0749. It's 25 bucks at your local cat dealer. You can get them sometimes cheaper online. You can catch them on sale even cheaper than that. So many guys, the C12 world, C13 world, C15, 3406, everything else, they have cheaped out, bought cheap filters, save $5–10 bucks. That's whether it's an oil filter or a fuel filter, and paid for it dearly. They've lost engines, they've lost injectors. Don't do it. Just buy the right filter the first time and forget about it. Anyways, you have a secondary / final filter right here under the hood. To make this a little bit easier, I like lifting my fender liner out. It's usually not too bad. You got to be careful with the old digitals and airlines there, but it comes right out. You also have a primer pump. It is that round piece right there. Screws out, pumps in and out. Word of advice, it does have O-rings in it that can fail. If you're ever looking for a fuel issue, it may be there. Also, that primer pump, if you're familiar with a 8.35 ton, that's an easy primer pump. This primer pump will whoop you. It's pretty stout. By the time you've pumped that thing a couple hundred times, your arms are sore. Anyways, so next thing here is you have a filter under the cab. And you can see mine actually has a decent amount of water in the bottom level of it. But I scored a boatload of these filters. 10 bucks a piece. With the bottom cap, I normally do not change this, but I'm going to change it on my truck because there's no telling how old mine is. Also, whenever you go to change this, make sure you unplug your heater. Part number on the heater itself appears to be 22789, and the filter part number, I can't remember if it's Racor or Parker, but the part number on it is 660RTC-01DD. I think the average going rate for them is about 15–20 bucks. You can retrofit. I will look up the my gasket fell off, it's laying on the ground. I will look up the thread specs on this and make sure I stick them in the description box. I'm not going to bother looking it up for the cat. That's easy enough to find. Plus, really, like I said, I don't recommend cross-referencing it and sticking alternatives on it unless you're upgrading with a advanced efficiency Caterpillar filter. The final tip on this, this is just my way. It's not the right way. I don't know if it's the wrong way, but it works good for me. If you ever starve one of these trucks out for fuel, it's a pain. It's an absolute nightmare to get it to bleed. So I like to start with draining this fuel filter first. Open up my fuel filler cap, then crack this. There should be a hose on your truck that slips on this. Don't hold me to it. I think it's 3/8, I want to say. Fits it nicely. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. And you can drain this filter down if you want to, and pop it off and put your new one on. This works for me. I don't know if it'll work for you. I usually crank the truck after I've got it on there and let it sit at idle, and it'll usually self-bleed itself. Whatever you do, do not change both filters at the same time. It's I can tell you, it's awful. And then I'll go up here and change the secondary filter after that one's bled out completely. If you want to do it the proper way, I think you would change one filter at a time and actually get on your primer pump. I don't like disturbing mine because every time you move it, there's a chance those O-rings might start leaking, and if they start leaking, your truck will start sucking air. Wait a minute. On this truck, okay, so the fuel line runs up, fuel pump is up here on the front cover of the engine. You can't see it. so it shouldn't start sucking air, so don't hold me to that. But still, it's a leak point. I don't like messing with my primer pump. I've got a salty taste in my mouth from my 8.3 coming, so I play it safe. But yeah, if I haven't already said so, I like to yank this little fender cover out. Gives me a little better access. That's all there is to it, guys. I recommend, depending on where you're getting fuel from, depending on how clean the tanks are, check your TIM behind the dash on the passenger side. It'll actually tell you what your fuel filter restriction is, and it'll make, you know, you can make a recommendation between what the new value is and the old value is, see if you're ready to change it. I like to just change mine every 5,000 miles. Filters are cheap, it's peace of mind. Also, the fuel that I get isn't very clean all the time. So that said, guys, that'll be all for now. Till next time. Forgot to mention a important detail here. These tanks on these trucks, forgive me, I don't remember if they're aluminum or stainless, but the main point here is they condensate badly. You can actually see a little bit of water on the underside of this cap. You can see the spring is rusting. The fuel, the return fuel, gets very hot on these 7 tons. It actually helps cool down the head slightly, and whatever fuel is not burned returns back through the head and returns to the tank. Well, it's great for making sure your fuel doesn't gel up in the wintertime, but this tank gets so hot, condensation becomes an issue. Heck, even when I haven't driven my truck for days and I've cleaned this cap off doing an experiment, just the sun hitting it and then nightfall starts condensing. So I usually end up draining that. I don't like having water any more than halfway up the clear bowl. I usually end up draining that thing probably about every 500 to 1,000 miles. Stick a 3/8 hose on there, crack it, and let it drain down. And close it back off and let her rip. All right, looks like we have a little carnage. I don't know if this is algae or not. May be, may not be. Either way, it's gummy, it's gooey, it does not belong in my tank. I've got some biocide, I'm gonna toss a little bit in there. Better safe than sorry. That stuff is nasty. This could even be breakdown sludge from biodiesel based fuels that we're starting to see a lot of in pumps across the nation. So another reason why it's great to crack these things open and take a look. You know what, I'll say it, I lied. Should have never told y'all bye. More and more further along I get in this, the more stuff I remember. Last tip, make sure you don't plug in your fuel bowl heater until after you have fuel in there. You run the risk of burning it up. It needs fuel to actually cool it down. So I guess I'm gonna try to crank this pig and see if she bleeds. Maybe, maybe not. Watch and learn and take 377 million. I think you'll be all right there.